What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast brought to you by TVCaptive.com for the Walking Dead finale, Season 4, Episode 16. This week, Carl wasn't even offered dinner in a movie. That's kind of rude. Rick takes a bite out of crime. Scruff McGruff. And almost everyone is reunited at Terminus. But first, I'm your host, Dom, and with me I have my poncho-loving host, Clio!
Hello.
How's it going?
You'll see me hidden in this scarf for most of this episode.
Oh, yeah.
This was a tough episode.
It was. That's why we had to lighten the mood a little bit. But, yeah.
With a rape joke.
Yeah. Probably not my best. Definitely not my worst.
God, I'd hate to hear your worst.
You don't want to. So, were you surprised to see Hershel in the finale?
Yes.
That was a very, very nice surprise.
Mm-hmm. The flashbacks in the beginning, at least at first, threw me off. I was like, whoa, prison. Okay.
Yeah, and they had been talking all season and stuff, like on the Talking Dead and various things, that the prison was still set up. Like, they still had the detention block and everything was built, and then the tunnels that we saw last week were actually part of the prison. So cool. I kind of had a feeling we were going to see something involving the prison again. Mm-hmm. But I didn't necessarily know it was going to be flashbacks, and I couldn't have pegged Hershel. But I don't know, it was really nice. All those flashbacks really ended up tying Rick's story arc this whole season up really well.
Yeah.
We found out some stuff about the reason why Rick stopped using his gun, and all that. It was kind of for Hershel, and the significance that Hershel really played a much more impactful role in their life. Mm-hmm. And Rick was on the Talking Dead this week. This was his first time sitting on the couch, which was really cool. And he said that a question came in, and somebody asked what hurt more, them losing the prison or them losing Hershel, and they said it was equal, because Hershel represented their mental capacity, like their mental comfort, and the prison was their like physical comfort.
Well, Andrew Lincoln said that the prison hurt more to lose because it was physical and they lost that place, but they keep Hershel with them at all times. So losing Hershel, like, he's still with them in their minds, but they lost the physical place of the prison. Yeah,
so it probably was. I think he said the prison was what hurt the most for the group. In retrospect, but I think Hershel, on a mental level, hurt them all, just as much as losing the prison, just in a different way. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And then I guess we had the hunters, like this whole thing. That was very, very touchy kind of subject that they played with here, and I don't know. It was just the hunters in general. Like, I understand the point of they were the catalyst for Rick turning back to the Rick that we know and love from, and maybe even more so than the Rick that we've known. But it just seems like they weren't around that long. They played a very short role in all this. In all that they were only in, I think, 3 episodes total.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't know. It seemed like kind of a small role for them, don't you think?
Yeah, but it was not an insignificant role. They could not have lasted longer than they did without killing a significant amount of the party or themselves getting killed.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't know, like, I think if we got to learn or spend a little more time with them, and because when we saw them last week with Daryl, mm-hmm. there wasn't anything really out of the way that made me want to hate them. It more the fact of them taking Daryl in under their wing, it almost redeemed them a little bit in my eyes. compared to when we first saw them. Because you compared the first meeting when Rick met them to when Daryl meets them, and you get a very different feeling off of those two groups, even though it's the same group. So
yeah, I don't agree. I still saw it as a group of thugs who, while they had a code, it was a weird code, and it may have worked for them internally, but externally, interactions with other groups, I knew wouldn't go well.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something I think we would have liked to see before meeting Rick, is how they interacted with another group. And I think if they squeezed that into last week's episode, cause like I said, last week I didn't find any hatred for them. Like, at all. There was none. Like, they beat up that one guy, but he deserved it.
So say last week they squeezed in an encounter with another group, and they killed them or raped them or whatever, then Daryl would definitely have left. And then they would not have had, the whole thing with Rick would have gone significantly different.
This is true, but they still could have worked it in somewhere, maybe before meeting Daryl, or while Daryl was off hunting.
I don't think it was significant, because we don't need to see that. We see their true colors when they run into Rick. We don't need to see another interaction with somebody else that may or may not have any bearing on the story.
Yeah.
It would have been superfluous and would have eaten up time. And there's nothing in The Walking Dead that happens superfluously.
Yeah, this is very true. Very, very true. Am I the only one here that was expecting Daryl to come out of the shadows and yell "claimed"?
Oh God, no! I actually did not think of that.
As soon as he walked around the corner and he's looking at Rick and he's like, "Hold on," I was waiting for Daryl to say "claimed," and that way they couldn't kill him. Like, that's all he had to do. That's the rules.
No, he saw Rick and it was no long. It's like, I'm not playing by your rules now.
Right, but they still were, to a degree. Like, they were still following the rules and all that. And I think that would have just...
Daryl said that.
Well,
Daryl said he was going to follow.
Yeah, Daryl wasn't. The group was still following the rules. That's why they were beating the shit out of Daryl.
Yeah, because they're all thugs, and Daryl is not like them, which is why last episode I probably didn't connect with them, because the whole time he was like, people like us to Daryl, comparing Daryl to them, and I'm like, Daryl is nothing like you.
Yeah. No, 100%. I just think if Daryl did that, there would have been nothing that they could do. Because they're like, he's following our rules. Like, what do we do now?
Listen, they probably, it wouldn't have made a difference.
Right.
Because they were hell-bent.
Right. I just would have loved to see that play out somewhere and just have them have this dumbfounded look on their face and then show their true colors and do it anyway.
I don't think that's something Daryl would do.
No. Very true. Yeah, so that whole scene with Carl was very difficult to watch. I'm surprised they kind of went as far as they did with that.
Yeah.
But it kind of was needed to bring Rick back to keeping his head in the game. Rick is kind of been out of it for a while now. This whole season, he's really been out of it. And that bite, we were just talking about this in pre-show. That bite was straight out of the comics, first and foremost. I kind of knew it was coming. I was talking to Umikins about this, who unfortunately can't make it with us tonight. But I was talking to this with her a day or two ago, and I was like, I think Rick is going to bite one of the hunters and defend himself. And if they do, I can't wait to see that scene. And then I saw it, and I was like, wow, that was incredible. Like, I don't know. That bite looked real.
Yeah, well, it was because it was raw chicken.
It was raw chicken. And
just took a bite of raw chicken out of that guy's neck.
The way Andrew Lincoln told that story on The Talking Dead was hysterical.
Yeah.
It was great. He's just like, yeah, chicken. Which one's more real? Raw. I'll do that one then.
On then.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't know if I could do that.
Man, that moment was just like, yes.
Yeah, he definitely had it coming. But
the rapey guy though.
Yeah.
He deserved a lot worse.
He did.
All Rick did was stab him.
37 times.
I would have... I thought about this a lot. I would have slit his throat while he's bleeding out, cut his dick off, shove it in his mouth, and watch him choke to death.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Because I really felt like that was my own kid, like, getting assaulted. I was like, no, Rick, you do worse than that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rough stuff this season in particular. Like, we just had the scene with Carl. We had Carol shooting a child last episode. And then going into this, the second half of the finale, we thought we had a murdered baby. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of been a really, really rough season mentally when it comes down to some rough subjects there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I want to say that they probably could have gotten away with not doing it.
Doing what?
That whole scene. And having something else, like, turn Rick over the edge, but I think it was very effective.
Yeah.
I almost say that there's not another way they could have taken that.
They probably could have, but it would have been different.
Right.
And the mood and the feeling going into Terminus would have been different.
Yeah. I think it was kind of that necessary evil to go into it. But then afterwards, Carl's kind of keeping his distance from Rick. And, you see him in the back, he's hanging out with Daryl, and then when Rick asks him to come scout the perimeter of Terminus, he goes with Michonne instead of Rick. Why do you think he's keeping his distance?
Well, he says it. Carl is afraid of his own thoughts. And what he thinks, he feels like he's a monster for thinking those things. And I think he's more afraid of letting Rick know because Rick is his father and Rick sees him as a little boy. And he's more open to telling Michonne because, she's not his father and she's like very close to him, but also outside of the family. So he confides in Michonne instead of Rick.
Yeah.
Because he looks in his own mind and sees a monster.
They're all kind of a little bit of monsters, though, because what Rick had to do was very literal monster-like. It's taking a page right out of the zombie book and biting them. Like,
yeah.
So we got Rick there. We had Michonne who described to Carl how everything went down with Mike and Terry, her boyfriend, her fiance, whatever he was.
She called him her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend. And how she had cut their arms off and their jaws and carried them around and kind of became a monster herself. She blended in with them and, and Carl obviously still feels like one from killing that kid so long ago, whatever.
Yeah.
How long ago was that now?
That was last season.
Was it the end of last season?
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't remember if it was the end of last season or the beginning of this season.
Yeah, that's I think part of the reason Rick really listened to Hershel and took up farming and made Carl take up farming because he saw what was happening with Carl and needed to rein it back.
Yeah.
But
and it was nice to see those scenes too because it's something we didn't really understand why Rick just kind of became a farmer out of nowhere.
And it sort of gives even more strength to Hershel's memory because all that time I thought that Rick just himself was like, I'm gonna be a farmer, but it was Hershel's idea.
Right.
And now Rick has found some equilibrium with his humanity and his monster. Yeah. So that's Hershel's doing and Hershel's influence.
Yeah, 100%. So we see the group at Terminus. They arrive, they sneak in through the back door, scouting around, they make their appearance known. The group searches them for weapons, they haven't put their weapons down, they pat them down, they give them their weapons back, and then send them out. Everything seems fine. And it's not until they start, they're right in front of the grill. They're just about to get food, and they notice Daryl's poncho, a Glenn's riot gear, and Hershel's pocket watch that Glenn had, that the rest of these people have, and Rick's not buying the fact that they just looted it off of corpses and clotheslines and stuff like that. Takes the guy at gunpoint, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Right? So I can understand how Rick, Carl, Michonne, and Daryl got locked in the train car.
Yeah.
But what about the rest of them?
I mean, the rest of them, like, that group all together was still only 7, right?
They came in 2 waves, though.
There was 8 of them. What do you mean 2 waves?
They came in 2 waves. It wasn't,
No.
Yeah.
No, they all waltzed in together.
Did they?
Yep. Because Abraham went back for them, and they met up with Maggie and Sasha and Bob, and they all of them, all 8 of them, went into Terminus together.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so I'm still thinking of Tyrese and Carol, which haven't shown up yet.
Yes.
So.
Yes, we have not seen them yet.
Well, how do you think the other ones got trapped, though? Do you think they had a run-in, same kind of ordeal, or do you think they were just tricked?
It could have been either. They probably were tricked because they did get all their belongings off of them before they put them in the train cars, where with Rick and them, they only got their weapons because, they sort of just started running. But there are a lot of heavily armed people on those roofs, all the way from one end of Terminus to the other.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the 8 of them tried to fight back, that's a lot of machinery they got to defend themselves with.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it was just Rick and them blew it just from going nuts and holding them at gunpoint, or if they were going to end up in there anyway.
They were going to end up in there anyway, I think. Because I think it just went against the normal Terminus protocol,
Right.
Where they invite him in. What I want to know if any of them actually ate the meat.
Yeah, if the first group did, because we know Rick, Carl, Michonne, Daryl have not. So.
But if the first group got duped long enough, which didn't seem very long, they were, Rick, Carl, and Michonne and Daryl were about to eat.
Right, and the reason why you bring this up is because there's a very popular theory going around that this is actually the people at Terminus is a group of cannibals.
I think now it is past theory.
So it would tie in with
that it's proven they're cannibals.
Yeah, it would tie in with the comics where they had cannibals. I believe it was the group of hunters that were the cannibals, though, in that telling. And then in the video game, it was a group of farmers, it was a farmhouse off the thing, but they were killed off in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a very interesting scene, though. You had the when the 4 of them were running through Terminus and trying to get out. You see the Terminus, the gunners on the rooftops and everything. They're clearly trying to root them down a specific path. They're not trying to injure them. They're not trying to kill them. They're trying to... You can see one guy with a machine gun, just...
corralling them.
Yeah, just shooting bullets in front of them so they didn't go that way. So they went down a different path.
Yeah.
And then you start hearing, when they pass by a couple storage containers, the big metal storage containers, you start hearing voices yelling, "Help me!" And you're like, "Oh shit, what was that?" And I thought at first it was just people in Terminus yelling, but then I was like, no, that's not. It's got an echoey kind of sound to it. They're in these containers, and then I have a screenshot here of them where they run by this fenced-in area of human bones. There's just these bones lying around, and
it's pretty clearly human rib cages and skulls. It's pretty hard to mistake that, especially in HD, for anything but a human skeleton.
Yeah, there's a skull you could see in the middle there,
and they don't
giant rib cage. It's 100% human remains.
And it's not like you can even confuse it with a pile of burned walkers or something, because they don't look burned.
They're not burned. It looks like all the meat was stripped off of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a very huge room there. Yeah, so it definitely seems like they're going down the cannibal angle here. You just mentioned in pre-show something a little eerie about walking in and getting met with that grill.
Yeah, that the way they frame Mary and the grill is just very eerie
Unsettling.
and disconcerting, and it because just the grill is so massive and the cuts of meat are just so large that there's no way, even if it was a cow, there's still very large strips of meat to be cow.
Right.
Yeah, so this just is very, even when Glenn and the gang rolled up, it's like, it's a look, it's a low, that's what it was. They kept filming the grill at a low angle.
Yeah.
And it's not a very low angle. It was a slight, subtle low angle. And I'm just like, no. Mary, go away.
Yeah.
I don't want your meat.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you eat that meat?
I don't know. I don't know.
If you just
I would
walked in
never
there,
have gone to Terminus.
Why not?
Because it's called Terminus.
The end of the line.
End of the line, which does not sound good. Not only does it sound like end, terminus, but it's like terminate, like death. And then back. It's also end of the line gives me a cornered feeling. It's not it does not have a friendly name.
Yeah, it's not very inviting.
No.
But somehow the entire prison group was duped into thinking it was. So
they had their sanctuary and it was taken from them. I think at that point the hope that there's another one out there is very, very tantalizing.
Yeah. The episode itself is called A, and I did notice there was a bunch of letter A's painted along the path that they're running. There was an A on the doorway. One of the doors that they go through.
Right, that train car I think was also A.
Yeah, the train car was labeled A.
Okay.
And one of the bay
doors. That dude's name was Alex.
Yeah, one of the bay doors also had A on it. So obviously we don't know exactly what A means, but it seems like it's gonna have some significance later on.
I didn't catch that.
I don't know if it's like grade A meat or something.
I don't know if it's in your notes, but we have to talk about that room with all the candles.
Okay, yeah.
That was really weird.
Yeah, it was. I didn't get a screenshot of it, but there were a bunch of names on the ground. They're in a circle, and they actually showed a better picture on the Talking Dead. But what do you think that room was?
I don't know, because it's hard to figure out, because we only have just seen Terminus now. We've only just met these people. The only thing we know is that they're more than likely cannibals, and that Terminus has been around since the start of the apocalypse.
Right.
I don't know. It seems like a shrine to those who've fallen, but...
Or is it to those who have been eaten?
That doesn't make sense then. Why would they memorialize the people they've eaten? Is it like maybe it's like a thank you for giving us food.
Yeah. Sorry
we had to eat you.
Yep. Sorry we had to eat you, but survival of the fittest.
You're right, because there are a lot of names on that floor.
A lot of names.
But the writing on the wall is what got me. It was also grammatically incorrect. At least it sounded grammatically incorrect to me. But what was it? It was something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Something us. Always, always.
Maybe that's what the A stands for.
It seemed like a very...
Maybe the A stands for always.
Maybe. Yeah, because it was a very, this terrible thing happened to us, and it's never going to happen to us again. And there was a lot of that writing on the wall, but that one phrase was what stuck out to me, I think, because it just seemed grammatically incorrect to me. But it was like,
yeah.
Together we, comma, always, I think is what it was. Something like that. But I don't know, that one, out of all the other ones, stuck out to me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know, I'll have to go back and look. But,
yeah, because that room is very weird.
It was.
And I have a feeling it's going to play out in the next season, but...
And then once again, we saw somebody slam the door in there and lock it, and they had to be funneled down another door. So
yeah.
That it was definitely all planned out. Like, they had people in these specific areas to do that. And then it looked like they were running down another area that was heavy gunfire, like bullet holes and crates and cars and everything down that path. So you could tell that this is not the first time that something like this has happened. This seems like a regular occurrence for them.
Yeah.
That's a waste of good ammo, though.
Yeah, but and something else bothers me about Terminus. They have all their perimeter is just chain link fences, but there doesn't seem to be any zombies around.
No.
Like around, the buildings of Terminus and around that larger fenced area of Terminus, there doesn't seem to be any walkers.
No.
Like, even when they were scoping out Terminus, Rick and the gang, like, there didn't seem to be any walkers around. Michonne and Carl had that really long talk. And I was like, something's going to pop out, because that's usually the vibe I get from, if you're in the woods having a conversation, watch out. But nothing. There was nothing. And that is super weird to me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so they get locked in the train car. Rick's final words are, they're going to be sorry when they find out. And everybody's like, find out what? He's like,
fucked with the wrong peeps.
I wish he actually said that.
No, there is a take where he actually says it.
Yeah, maybe we'll get it on the DVD or something, but...
I hope to God, because that would have been so much more badass.
It was. It's just like when they're screwing with the wrong people. It's just like, really, Rick? Really? Come on, you just, take a bite. You just took a huge bite out of someone's throat. You stabbed somebody 28 times in the chest, and you're going to say screwed?
Well, that's the thing. Actually, that's more of a reflection on the censors than it is on the writers or on Rick.
Right.
Because Andrew Lincoln desperately wanted... Because I think in the script it was screwed. And I think Andrew Lincoln on set was just like, I gotta say fuck, guys. There has to be one take where I say fucked.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we'll get that in the DVD, because it just seemed a little out of place.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. This is the season finale. We didn't have anybody die. You surprised none of the main cast died?
Well, I have a theory on that.
Okay.
I think somebody died and we don't know about it. This is actually John's. John came to me with this.
Okay.
When Glenn and the gang roll up, John thinks that it's Beth that's on the grill.
Ooh, super interesting. There was a rumor going around at the end of the last episode, and it's something I actually forgot to mention, was that some people were saying that some of the it was like the shirt or the something that Mary was wearing looked to be Beth's.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah. I think it's very, very plausible that Beth has already been eaten.
Oof. I don't know. Hopefully she's one of the people screaming from the other trailers.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But
that's John's theory, and I have to agree with it.
It's definitely possible. Definitely possible. I hope not.
So I don't think we got out of the season that lucky, you know? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I honestly, when Rick first saw that they had the riot gear and the poncho, I thought that they all 8 of them were already dead and eaten. I was like, no.
That would have been awful.
That would have been terrible. I was like, that's so many people.
And they're like, you're eating them. That would have been even worse.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad they didn't eat it. I was like, oh
Yeah.
god, no, don't eat it.
But let's take another spin on that Beth angle, because the last flashback that we see Beth holding Judith. Rick and Carl are farming. Rick takes the hat off of Carl, puts it on Beth, and says there's a new sheriff in town. So that could also be them the foreshadowing something. What if Beth is the one that saves them all?
That would be the best fucking thing, but I mean, I think,
She did say she doesn't need Daryl anymore. Like, she just had this whole badass, like, little moment on her own.
Yeah.
And,
but it's pretty clear that she got kidnapped.
Right, but what if she escaped on her own?
It's possible. You're right, it's possible.
Like,
it could be foreshadowing.
She got there, maybe at Terminus herself she breaks out. We don't know.
It could be foreshadowing either way. I think but it's definitely foreshadowing
one way or the other.
Something significant with Beth.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yep. Beth is going to play a big role, whether it's dead or alive.
Dead or alive, big role next season.
Yes. Yeah. And then, what about, like, I don't know, we have, like, you know, Abraham, Eugene, Rosita, right? We kind of got to know them a little bit, but they didn't play too huge of a role, right? And it seems like...
except for the fact that they saved Glenn.
Right.
And... Wait. Fuck. No. What's her name?
Tara.
Tara. It's very far from Tara.
I'm lucky that I remembered Rosita.
Rosita, yeah.
So just, instead of calling her what's her face again. So, yeah. Yeah, no, obviously with that, but if you took that whole part of saving Glenn out, which I know is a major part, but you took that out, they didn't have much on-screen time this season.
No.
So I'm kind of worried with characters like that, and especially characters like Bob, right? Yeah. Bob had this whole, like, little redemption story and this whole thing, and it amounted to nothing.
It amounted to him and Sasha.
Him and Sasha what? We didn't see anything happen with that, so it kind of went nowhere.
They kissed.
Yeah, but... Yeah. Okay.
We are... Well, the fact stands that we are slightly more invested in Bob than we were.
Right, but now... Is that going to pay off next season?
I don't know, but I don't know how long it's going to take them to get out of Terminus, but I don't think all of them will make it.
I hope that they're not stuck in, like, cells and cages and boxcars and stuff for half this season, because one of my other favorite shows was Lost, and during the whole third season, you had half the cast trapped in polar bear cages and underwater cells and, like, stuff like that, and that was my least favorite season. Just because with the main characters all being cooped up, it just wasn't entertaining. Do you think we could run into that same problem if they drag this out a few episodes?
I think so, and honestly, from the Talking Dead, the little peeks we got of next season of Terminus, there's a lot more to Terminus that we haven't seen and that we're going to see. So whether or not they make it out of Terminus, we are going to see more of it.
Right. And we also have Carol, Tyrese, and Judith who are unaccounted for.
They're on their way.
They were on their way last we knew.
Yeah.
We don't know if they arrived. We don't know if they're arriving.
That's true. It's been at least a couple days since then.
Right.
Good point.
Rachel says in chat, what was on the wall was never again, never trust, us first.
Us, that's what it was.
Comma,
us
always.
First, always.
Yeah. So, apparently something major happened at Terminus then.
Yeah, so that shrine still just, like, confuses me, because I didn't even think that they would, like, offer a shrine to those they've eaten, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm thinking maybe, I don't know why this was a thought I had when I was thinking about why the hell are there no walkers around. But maybe the fact that they eat human flesh like the zombies keeps them away. And I know that doesn't make sense, but that's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know. Maybe
it doesn't make sense.
Maybe they eat zombies too.
Huh?
Maybe they eat the walkers too.
I don't think so.
That'd be kind of gross.
It would be gross, and it's rotten flesh. It's like, I guess it's like just like eating spoiled food.
Yeah.
That's been rotting for years.
Yeah. I can't see that being any good. I don't know. I can't explain why there's no walkers. The eating that doesn't make too much sense unless it's the smell of the burning flesh or the cooked meat, whatever, that would keep them away. But that sounds like it would be more enticing for them.
Yeah. So it totally doesn't make sense to me.
Unless they're just doing a really good job at cleaning up the fences.
Yeah,
they're kind of in a central location, though.
Huh?
They're kind of in a central location where all the tracks meet.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're tucked away somewhere.
No. Yeah, it looks like there's, nothing but forest, so there's no natural barriers like a mountain or a cliff or something that would keep the walkers away.
Right, but if they're the ones running around kidnapping people, like they took Beth and stuff like that too,
yeah,
they could also have a team that goes out there and cleans walkers out before they even get close.
That's true, because it does seem like there are a lot of them.
Yeah, we don't even know exactly how many there are.
No, we don't, but there's enough to...
There was about 8 in the room when they first walked in. There was another 6 or 7 just sitting in the courtyard eating. And then you had all those guys on the roof. You had all those guys in the woods. I'd say there's about...
Right, because they were on the other side of the fence. That's probably cleanup crew or something.
Yeah, I'd say there's at least 20 to 30 people there.
Yeah, I think there might be more.
Yeah. So...
Yeah.
I don't know. So... This is our season finale. What was your favorite thing that happened all season?
All season.
It was the governor flashbacks, wasn't
it? I'm sorry, I threw up in my mouth.
Oh, sorry. The helicopter busting through the roof.
I don't know. This half of the season was just very emotionally draining that I can't remember anything good. Like, okay, yes, the emotional parts were very good.
Yeah. I was gonna say
but
it may sound wrong.
I can't claim that any of that tragedy is my favorite,
I was gonna say it may sound wrong, but the whole scene with Carol and Lizzie, I think was my favorite. Not because it made me happy, because that's not what it did, but it was just a very powerful scene.
It really was.
So.
And that's why, because the powerful scenes are sticking out in my mind, but I can't claim any of them as my favorite, because they doesn't really warm my heart.
Right.
Maybe.
Okay, so then what was the most powerful scene for you?
That was nice, but I can't claim that as my favorite either. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
You would make a terrible hunter. You can't claim anything.
I can't. No, I told you I would make a terrible hunter.
So what was the most powerful scene?
Mostly because I'm a woman, and they probably just would have raped me. So.
Yeah. What did you think was the most powerful scene this whole season, then?
Oh my god, I can't. It's either the showdown with the hunters or the whole sequence with Lizzie.
So the governor's not even in the running there?
No, the governor can suck it in hell.
No, I mean the war on the prison. That's what I mean by that.
I mean, the war on the prison was... I had a very anticlimactic feeling towards the war on the prison.
And it was just because of the episodes leading up to it.
Maybe. But more so that... Yeah, great, the governor's dead. We kind of knew that's where that had to go. And yes, Hershel, that was very emotional, and that was pretty powerful, but when that episode ended, I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where I was too.
No, I don't think it was as powerful as anything in this half of the season.
Probably my So for me, the most powerful scene was the Beth and Lizzie scene.
Yeah.
Or Beth and Lizzie, the Carol and Lizzie scene. Probably my favorite moment. This whole thing was not the helicopter, but in that same episode, when we see Bob reaching for the alcohol and seeing that he's the one that caused all this trouble and whatever. It was just kind of like this little funny moment for me just before shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
And it kind of stretched on this whole like little arc that we got to see out of Bob. We weren't expecting, and I think that was probably one of my favorite moments, if not my favorite, the whole season.
Yeah.
What was your least favorite? Because I know you hate the helicopter and you hate the governor, but which of those two do you hate more? Or is it something else? Did something else come along that?
Okay, so the thing about the helicopter is I didn't completely hate it, but when I watched it, it was very not Walking Dead because it was like it was a scene out of a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, and I could 100% agree with that. It was not Walking Dead.
Feeling I usually feel from The Walking Dead.
Right. I do appreciate the fact that they tried to do it. I think it was a very bold statement.
It was something new.
And it was kind of refreshing, even if it was a little bit in the wrong direction for them. It was kind of refreshing, kept things new. So you didn't really know what to expect this season. Right off the bat, first episode. That was the first episode, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, so right off the bat, first episode, they're already telling you, you have no idea what you're in for. So that's true. This is true.
I mean, and the reason I hate the Governor's 2 episodes is because they take time out of this.
They dragged it down. They did.
It just broke all flow that that first half of the season had.
I think
broke it.
I think if they started with those 2 episodes, it would have been a different story.
I think so too, but it's hard to start.
It is. Without your main character. Yep, I agree.
Full episodes.
I agree, but I think in this particular case it would have worked because then you would have had like 4 or 5 episodes of no governor being like, what the hell just happened? Like, where is he? You're waiting for him even more. You know it's coming.
Yeah.
They don't, and you're even more like on the edge of your seat in anticipation.
I think the whole reason that I was disappointed in those episodes was because those first... How many episodes was it before the governor? 5?
It was about that. Because it was the mid-season finale when the governor destroyed the prison, and it was the 2 following that. So this is episode 16, so that had to be about episode 8. Right, yeah.
So those first 5 episodes, the whole time I'm like, all of this shit is happening. It's the governor's fault. Conspiracy. And I like that it wasn't.
Right.
That was done well. But I think that after all that speculating, and then we see the governor with this fucking really stupid family.
Right.
Really stupid family. I don't know. I did not like it. The only thing, I know I accept it because it gave us Tara, and I like Tara.
Right.
So.
Yeah, she's awesome. What I'm actually going to do is during this break at some point, I'm going to go back and watch this season, and I'm going to start with the 2 governor episodes.
Oh.
And then I'm going to go back and watch the rest of them, watch them in that order, and see if it changes things for me, because I kind of feel like right now, it's hard to tell because I don't remember the episodes perfectly, but it seems like that would be a better story to me. So that's something we'll talk about when we come back next fall.
All right.
But yeah, I think that about covers everything. The only question I have for you, the only thing left is, they made bold moves here. Where can they possibly go next season to make bigger things? Obviously, their goal is not to necessarily get people talking about the episodes. That's a benefit, believe me, because then more people are going to want to tune in to watch it. But you had such powerful scenes like the Carol and Lizzie and what happened to Carl this season, or this episode rather. Where can they go from there?
I don't know. As this show goes on, it's harder and harder to predict what's going to happen. I think these writers are just very good at their job.
They are. And for that, I'm going to say I'm honestly worried about Judith.
Yeah.
That is pretty much the only place that they can go.
I've been worried about Judith. Honestly, Rick's come to this place. Like, and I don't know why I want Rick to die. Okay, I love Rick. Rick is awesome.
I do too, though.
I don't know why I think that Rick needs to die for Carl to... I don't know. Get up there. I don't know. I still think it's gotta happen.
No, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, but I think even right now it's a little too soon.
Yeah.
I think what we need before that happens, I think we need a Carl-Rick redemption story.
Probably.
And once the two of them are back on their father-son terms, like they've been, at each other's sides all the time, once we get back to that point, they're going to rip Rick away from us. Mm-hmm. Or rip Carl away from us.
They could do that.
One of those two. And I'd prefer it to be Rick.
I think so too.
Because that's a bold move, is when you kill off your hero.
Yeah.
And Walking Dead's all about bold moves. So, something I would love to see.
Yeah.
So, that wraps that up. Clio, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr and Pinterest and stuff at Cliomoto. And you can find me on Twitch at The Cliomoto.
You can find me down below at Phenomedom, Phenomedom.
I'm sorry, I just don't have it in me.
Good, thank you. And you can find us all on tvcaptive.com, as well as Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Google+, and Gmail, / ASOTV podcast. You could also catch us for more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. We cover Supernatural, Once Upon a Time. What else are we covering right now? I don't know. I don't even know what else is airing anymore.
Shield.
We'll be doing Captain America.
Yep.
Expect some new stuff from us this summer. We're going to be toying around with some more experimental content. And for those of you that don't watch our other shows, see you guys next fall. Dinner and a movie.
God, you're terrible.
I'm the worst.
The worst.
I don't even know how that came out of my mouth.
It came out of your mind first.
It did. That's the
probably
scary
should
part.
look into that one.
Yeah.